evening. You may be seated. Welcome to Stanley Community College's Adult High School and GED Commencement Exercises. It is my pleasure to introduce Andrew Ball, an adult high school graduate who will have our invocation.
Welcome each and every one of you. I appreciate y'all coming out to help us celebrate this great new day and this great new beginning for our lives. Before I open up in prayer, I'd like to say a few words out of my heart. And that is, I'm thankful to God that He gave me a second chance, another opportunity 30 years down the road to get an education. I never realized how important education was 30-some years ago, but I do now. And I think it's part of the providence of God that He's opened up this door, this opportunity for me to be able to get a higher education. I didn't know how important it was. Behind my desire to go back to school was that I felt like God had called me to do, and that was to be in the ministry, and it required a higher education. And that's the reason why I went back to school, because of a dream that I had, a desire that I had that He put in my heart to do. And that's the reason why we're all here, because we have a dream, we have a vision. And I thank God for the second chance that He's given us to come back to school and get an education. I also thank God for all the teachers and all the staffs that prayed for us and interceded for us, that stood by our side and helped us and encouraged us on the way. And I want to thank God most of all for the support of our family, our friends, our neighbors, and most of our church family. A lot of my prayer requests in the last 2 years has been, Lord, help me, Jesus. And I've had the church to pray, please help me pray. We're going to have a test tomorrow. And I'd be nervous. But you know what? I passed the test. Why? Because I had people that cared about me, loved me, and prayed for me, interceded for me, and stood in the gap for me. And I thank God for that. Many of the teachers that I had was a great spiritual inspiration to me, and I thank them for that. And so I want to open this up in prayer. Father, in the name of Jesus, we just thank you for a second chance, another opportunity, Lord, to go to school and get an education. I just pray that you go before us, clear the way. I pray that you open the door of opportunity up for each and every one of us that you have us to walk into, Lord, that we'd be pleasing unto you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. At this time, it is my honor to introduce to you Stanley Community College's fourth president, Dr. Brenda Case.
Thank you, Tammy, and good evening. On behalf of the trustees, the faculty, the staff at the college, welcome. We're so pleased that you are with us this evening, and what a wonderful evening it is. There couldn't be any place in the world that is more swelled with pride than Stanley County, North Carolina. This is a wonderful evening, and we have 3 tasks that we will accomplish in the space of time that we're here. Number 1, we're going to celebrate. We are going to celebrate the accomplishments of these wonderful students who have worked very, very hard in order to accomplish their educational goals and dreams. We will be awarding 66 high school diplomas tonight and 57 GED certificates. This is really something that the students who have worked very hard can be very proud of. But we also know that nobody achieves their goals and their dreams without the help of others. So this is also what we're going to do this evening, is recognition. We want to recognize those individuals who have helped the graduates in actually achieving their goals. So at this point in time, I would ask, if you are a spouse or the parent of a graduate, would you please rise and remain standing? Okay, if you are a child, an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent, a sister, a brother, or any other relative of a graduate, would you please rise and remain standing? Okay, I think I have almost everybody on their feet, but if you are a friend of a graduate, would you please rise and remain standing? And if you are a faculty or staff member from Stanley Community College who helped these students in achieving their goals and dreams, would you please rise? Wonderful. Graduates, would you please join me with a big round of applause for these individuals who have helped. You may be seated. Thank you so much for everything that each and every one of you did to contribute to the fact that your graduate is sitting on the stage tonight. But finally, the third thing that I want us to do is I want us to focus on the future. Definitely celebrate, definitely recognize, but let's also begin, as of this evening, thinking about what the next step is going to be for these graduates. Graduates, how many of you are aware, show of hands, that by virtue of you receiving your diploma or certificate tonight, that you're entitled to a free college-level course at Stanley Community College? Fantastic. I think I see everybody's hand that's actually raised. Now I've got a trickier question to ask. How many of you have actually talked to somebody about what that class is going to be? Very good, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we have a group of individuals out in the hall, Steve and Luke, and they are prepared to help you before you leave tonight in getting the basics down with regards to information on what it's going to take for you to re-enroll, to actually cash in on that free college course so that you can begin the next step in your educational journey. I expect to see each and every one of you in January, and I hope that I will. My office is located in the Patterson building. My door is always open to you, and if there's anything that I can do for you as you continue to reach for the stars, achieve your goals and dreams, please let me know. Thank you, and I can't express enough how wonderful it is to see everybody that's here to celebrate our graduates. And so let's continue with the ceremony.
Thank you, Dr. Kays. At this time, it is my honor to introduce Karen McAllister. She is the coordinator of college and career readiness at our Albemarle campus. She is going to present our Shirley Dennis Award for Outstanding Student. $1,452.75, $14,106, $250. Now these numbers have absolutely nothing to do with the national debt, the number of yards a particular team has run in football, or the hours that we have left to shop before the stores close for the holiday season. These numbers are important for the person who will be receiving the Shirley Dennis Outstanding AHS GED Student Award for our fall 2012 graduation. Before the student's name is announced, let me tell you a little bit about the woman for whom this award was named. Shirley Dennis started out as a GED student in our program in the 1980s. After completing her certificate, she went on to get her associate's degree at Stanley Community College and then went to Pfeiffer College where she received her bachelor's degree. She returned to Stanley Community College to work as an adjunct instructor both in curriculum and in our GED classrooms. And throughout her lifetime,
she encouraged and inspired individuals at the college and in the community. When the staff of the College and Career Readiness Program began the selection process for this semester's student this year, we thought about the characteristics that Ms. Dennis displayed throughout her life, and we chose a student who exemplified her love for learning and her love for people. After we made our selection, I went around the building and I asked various staff members and instructors if they would help me out by giving me an adjective to describe this person. And what I found out was that no one could give me one word to describe our winner tonight. I got a whole list of adjectives. Words like conscientious, inquisitive, a leader, an encourager, a driven person, persistent, positive, dedicated, eager to learn, cheerful, strong in faith, consistent, caring, thoughtful, polite, mannerly, punctual, and humble. When I first met this student, he told me that he knew he had a long way to go, but he was determined that he would get a high school diploma. Now, remember those numbers that I just mentioned a few minutes ago. Let me tell you what those numbers stand for. 1,452.75 hours is the number of hours the student was in class. If my math was correct, 14,105 represents the number of miles the student drove to get his high school diploma. 250 is the approximate number of tests that this student took during the career at our College and Career Readiness Program. Now, although these numbers are impressive, they are not the reason this individual was selected as Student of the Year. The list of adjectives that I just read tell you a little about the character and the determination of this recipient. As one instructor stated, he made you glad you came to work. Deciding to come back to school to complete a high school diploma or to get a GED and to finish a goal that you set a long time ago does take a lot of determination. And a lot of times there are hurdles that you have to overcome as you're going down this road. Ralph Waldo Emerson, a 19th century poet, wrote, "Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." Our Student of the Year has left a trail of eagerness to learn, a trail of compassion, and a trail of determination. It is with a great deal of honor that I present the Shirley Dennis Award to Mr. Kenneth Andrew Ball.
Thank you, Karen. At this time, it's my honor to introduce another high school graduate, Melanie Barnhart, for a few comments.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a great day it is to be here. Even though one day, a long time ago, I never thought that I would be here. And I would like to tell you that story. When I was a sophomore, I was attending Jesse C. Carson High School in Rowan County. At the time, I wasn't getting along very well with my father and was having some issues at the school that I was currently attending to. So I decided to move back in with my mother. When I went to enroll in the high school where my mother lived, they told me it was too late into the school year to come back, so that I should come back next year. Before the next year began, my mother was diagnosed with cervical cancer. I was devastated and unable to think about anything that was happening, anything except for what was happening and her. I became rebellious, and school was the last thing on my mind. Although I had a strong faith, I rebelled against everything, including God. I was scared and angry, and all I wanted to do was escape the pain that I was in. I had no hope for my life because without my mother, there was no life for me to live. I was lost, and no one could find me, not even myself. A year into my mother's disease and my rebellious lifestyle, I became pregnant. This is not something that most people want to go through at the age of 17, but my pregnancy proved to be a blessing. I had a very stressful pregnancy, with my mother being sick and me having toxemia, and this all happening at such a young age. 9 months later, on May 1st, 2008, I looked into the eyes of my newborn son, Levi, and felt hope for the first time. I had a reason to live again, and I knew right then on that day that I wanted more for myself and more for my son. That is when I decided that in order for that to happen, I would need to return to school. A month and 13 days later, my mother passed away. It was the most devastating day and painful day of my life, and the feeling of giving up again swarmed inside me. And again, I looked into the eyes of my son Levi, and I knew that I couldn't let that happen. I moved in with my grandmother Linda, and 2 months later, I enrolled here at SCC to get my adult high school diploma. I started off really good. But as the weight of losing my mom and being a single teenage mother grew stronger and harder to deal with, I began to fade back into my rebellious ways. I started hanging out with a rough crowd and doing things I shouldn't have. School once again became irrelevant to me, and I only showed up to see my friends if I showed up at all. And when I did show up, I was rude and disruptive to the class. I got into fights, and I treated my teachers with a lot of disrespect. I was the worst student in the program by far, and I did not care. One day, I got into a heated argument with a fellow student and left the premises of the school after being told that if I would be expelled. A few days later, I received a letter from Miss Diane Cooker saying that I could not return to school, not just for a few weeks, but at all. Reading the letter, I thought, oh my God, what have I done to my life and to my son's? Scared that I had ruined my chance of getting an education, and to be honest, aggravated because I did not like being told what I could and could not do. I went to Ms. Cooker's office and begged her to let me come back. I even apologized to the girl that I got into the fight with. I was surprised when Ms. Cooker told me that in order to come back, I needed to get some help with my anger issues. Because for the past 2 years, I hadn't been dealing with them correctly, and I had been taking it out on everyone who didn't deserve it. I was a danger to the teachers, to the students, and to myself, and she knew it. And for once, I had someone who did not back down to me, someone who did not give me my way, even though that's what I wanted, but not what I needed. At the time, I was mad that she gave me these conditions, but because I wasn't going to be told I couldn't come back to school, and I didn't want to ruin my life, I did what she asked. I struggled for about a year, dealing with my issues, going to therapy, dropping out of therapy, moving to Boone, moving back to Boone. And after having a few awful jobs and being broke, losing a few awful jobs, and being broke all the time, never being able to support myself or my son, I decided that something needed to change and I needed to return to school. So I enrolled back in SCC this year. Some of my old teachers looked as though they had seen a ghost. One of them even warned a current teacher that I hadn't had before that I was terrible and to watch out for me. Then I surprised everyone. With the help of therapy and motivation that I felt from my son, I had changed a lot. I was even called a model student. It felt so good to have people smile when I walked into a classroom instead of looking like, oh my God, here we go again, she is back. I submerged myself into my schoolwork. I was nothing like I was before. I didn't get into fights, I wasn't disrespectful, and I worked really hard. I had really showed how much I had changed when a student who reminded me a lot of how I used to be struck a nerve, and instead of flipping out on her, I told her my story. And I told her that I had already done everything that she was doing, and that one day she would regret it. I'm not perfect, and I still have a long way to go, but I've come a long way too. And now I have my high school diploma. I smile every time I say it, every time I fill out a job application and I get to write down that I have it, because I did it, me. And no one can ever take that away. Through all the things I've had to overcome, I did it. I'm even going to college to become an X-ray technician, which is something I never thought I would even want to do. Everyone goes through things in life that are hard, and I have always been told that there's someone out there that has it worse. But if I can overcome the things that I have had to and get my adult high school diploma, then so can you. If there's anyone here today that doesn't have their high school diploma or their GED, then I would like for you to know that you can do it. For some people it will be easy, and for some people it will be hard, but no matter what age or what is going on in your life, you can do it. And the feelings of accomplishment it can give you are amazing. I don't care if you're 60, you can still do it. It's not too late. It's never too late to help yourself. The people at this school are great, and as long as you want it, they will help you achieve your goals. Who knows, when you're done, even if you never thought you would, you just might move on to college. But I can honestly say that I have never felt more proud of myself than I do right now. And I hope that someone here today will take something good from my story, and that maybe one day they will walk across this stage and feel the joy that I feel today.
Thank you, Melanie. We're very proud of you too. And now it is my privilege to introduce one of our GED graduates, Danny Dexter.
Wow, how's everybody doing today? Tonight. There you go. Well, I'm glad to say I made it. Standing here in front of everybody, it's an accomplishment. What more can I say? Well, what can I say to anyone? Except that if you have a goal, you got a dream, make it. Do it. It's a challenge. Build yourself up. That's what I did. Didn't have nothing, really, to go look forward to. But I made something out of myself. I called Miss Sheila Morgan one day, and wow, it was an awesome feeling. I never got a response from her telling me to come and try, come over here and apply. Or I'm sorry, what am I saying? But I would say that I never gave up in achieving this degree. My life wasn't really good at all. When I was 5 years old, doctors told my parents that I had 1 week to live after being diagnosed with leukemia. It was a struggle for me. But with the persistence of my doctors who helped me out, saved my life, and with my family's faith, I'm glad to say that I've been in remission for 11 years. I had many difficulties in my school, never got along with people, always got into fights. I could say I was never a good child, never treated my family with respect, but I did all I could. I thank each and every one of them. And along the way, many people have told me that I wouldn't achieve this degree today. I wouldn't be standing up here. But I am. And I'm glad to say that I enrolled into college and I'm going to continue to push myself and strive myself into making myself better. And I think that's a great accomplishment that I'm doing today. But today, I'm here to celebrate with all these wonderful people here that are standing right behind me, that we completed our GED, or adult high school education. And in the long run, we never gave up, not one of us. No matter how long it took us to go and achieve this degree, we all stood together. We all pushed ourselves to the limit. And I'm grateful, and all these people are grateful here today to be standing here and sitting here. And no matter what you have in life, always go for it. Try to push yourself. And as I tell every single one of these people today, I never gave up, neither did these people. And I hope and I encourage every single one of these students to either continue on with their education, because that's what I'm doing today myself. Next year, I'm going to go and apply. I'm going to get my 2-year associate's degree in computer technology integration. I want to say thank you to everyone who inspired me. I want to say thank you to my teacher, Miss Patricia Van Hoos, my GED online teacher, Miss Louise Holderman. I want to sit there and also thank Miss Sheila Morgan. I want to thank Miss Steed for, Andrea Steed for helping me out as well. Each and every single one of these persons encouraged me today. And I'd like to say thank you to my family, to my dad. I wouldn't be standing up here today if it wasn't for him. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny, and congratulations. At this time, I am pleased to introduce Diane Cooker. She is the Director of College and Career Readiness at Stanley Community College.
Good evening, everyone. It's my privilege to introduce to you 3 young ladies who have gone through what's called our Basic Skills Plus program. In order to be part of Basic Skills Plus, you must be enrolled in either GED or adult high school. Basic Skills Plus is an opportunity to get a trade while you're also getting your secondary education. These 3 young ladies went through the nurse aid program and are now certified as nurse aides, as well as finishing up their high school diplomas. That's quite a bit to do at the same time. They had to work very hard, and so I want to recognize them at this time and have them come forward. The first one went through the program a little bit earlier than the other 2, and that's Brittany Cook. That's what their blue cords are for, also, if you were wondering. Congratulations, Brittany. And now the other 2 went through this program just recently, Sharissa Vickery and Miranda Blizzard. This is Miranda. Congratulations. And this is Sharissa. Congratulations.
And now we will present the degrees.
Would the GED graduates please stand? You will notice some of our students have on yellow tassels. This denotes that they are honor grads. In the case of our GED students, they had significantly higher total scores than they needed in order to get a GED. So it's quite an accomplishment. Okay, would the GED graduates please come forward? Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to go that way and get her thing and then go right back into your row, okay? Alexis Adkins. Kenyetta Benson. Samantha Hood. Garrett Long. Haley Marie Lucas. Michael Allen Patrick. Ethan Kane Smallwood. Leslie Barnhart Smith. It's okay. Danny Dextra. These are our GED graduates for 2012. You may be seated. Adult high school graduates, would you please stand? Once again, you'll notice the yellow tassels some of them have. I will tell you that in our program, you have to have an 85 average in order to graduate. So everybody here is at least a B student. Those who have yellow tassels got straight A's with us. That's quite an accomplishment for everybody. Okay, come this way. Andrew Ball. Melanie Barnhart. Misty Barnhart. Dusty Bear. Miranda Nicole Blizzard. Blunt, okay. Ashley Blunt. It's pronounced Lee. Okay. Lee Carter. Lester Chun. Jake Coe. Brittany Cook. Kylie Davis Creighton. Justin Deaton. Hannah Marie Freeman. Jennifer Hedrick. Bradley Holt. Jessica Ingalls. Zachariah James, oh, I see. Zachariah Jones. Megan Martin. James Charles Mathis. Clayton Matthew Malden. Casey Leanne Malden. Michaela Mills. Chastity Sue Morgan. Gary Lee Morton. Christina Pascal. Jennifer Renee Patrick.
Is it Charday? Charday.
Essence Charday Price. Jessica Ramos. Janessa Ramos. My fault. Christian Jermaine Reynolds. Joshua Rice. Tori Sloan. Charles Douglas Spivey. Asia Streeter. Brianna Tarleton. Michael Teal. Sharissa Vickery. These are our 2012 December high school graduates. GED grad stand. That's your case.
Keep on. They deserve it. By the authority vested in me by the State Board of Community Colleges and the Board of Trustees of Stanley Community College, I bestow on each of you the degree or certificate for which you have worked so hard to achieve. Congratulations, you may move your tassels.
Please remain in your seats till all graduates have left. This concludes our program.